Imagine living in a time when adventure and danger were around every corner. This was the world for a group of brave children during World War II, a massive conflict involving many countries from 1939 to 1945. In the middle of all this, in the city of London, a special group of kids formed. They called themselves the Spook Hunters. This wasn't a gang looking for ghosts or ghouls. Their name was a secret code. Spook was a slang word for spies. These children weren't just playing games. They were on a very real, very serious mission to protect their homes and their country from enemy agents. It was a huge responsibility for anyone, let alone youngsters. The Spook Hunters lived in an era of constant fear and uncertainty. Every day they heard war news, and at night they hid in shelters as bombs fell. This was the context for their story. Instead of giving in to fear, these kids fought back in their own way. They used their knowledge of the local streets, their youthful energy, and their sharp eyes to spot anything out of place. They believed children could make a difference and were determined to prove it. Their mission was simple but vital: spot and report suspected spies. Nazi Germany sent spies to Britain to gather information, sabotage sites, and spread fear. The government warned, "Be vigilant, keep mum." The Spook Hunters took that warning and acted. They saw themselves as junior guardians of the neighborhood. They formed a secret club with codes, with signals, and a shared sense of purpose bonding them as they navigated perilous wartime London, always on the lookout. The group formed in the early 1940s, when the war was most intense for Britain. This was the Blitz, when German planes bombed cities nearly every night. It was terrifying, but forged community and resilience. The Spook Hunters embodied that spirit. They channeled youthful energy which might have been spent on games into a crucial task. Their story shows ordinary people, even the youngest, can find extraordinary courage when faced with huge challenges, becoming heroes in their own right. So who were these daring Spook Hunters? They were a group of about a dozen children, mostly boys and girls between the ages of 10 and 14. They weren't soldiers with uniforms or special training. They were just regular kids from working-class families in London's East End. Their leader was a resourceful and clever boy who organized their patrols and meetings. They knew every alleyway, every hidden passage, every rooftop in their neighborhood better than any adult. This intimate knowledge of their local area became their greatest weapon. They could move around quickly and quietly, observing things without drawing any attention to themselves, which was perfect for spotting suspicious activities. Their main activity was surveillance. The Spook Hunters would patrol their streets in small groups, especially after school and on weekends. They were looking for anything that seemed unusual. A stranger asking too many questions about a local factory. Someone using a camera near a railway bridge. Strange light signals flashing from a window at night. They had a system for recording their observations in little notebooks, using their own secret codes to keep the information safe. They would then discuss their findings during secret meetings held in bombed-out buildings or in their parents' garden sheds, piecing together clues like real detectives. World War II completely changed the lives of the Spook Hunters and every other child in Britain. The constant threat of air raids was the most dramatic change. When the air raid sirens wailed, a sound that became chillingly familiar, everyone had to rush to a shelter. These could be small Steel Anderson shelters buried in back gardens or larger public shelters in underground tube stations. For the Spook Hunters, these moments of shared fear only strengthened their resolve. While huddled in the dark, they would often whisper and plan their next patrol. The war also meant that many fathers, older brothers, and other men were away fighting in the army, navy, or air force. This left communities with fewer adults to manage things at home. Children had to grow up very quickly and take on more responsibilities. Beyond the bombings, daily life was filled with challenges. Food, clothing, and other goods were strictly rationed, meaning each family only got a small, fixed amount each week. The Spook Hunters, like all children, had ration books with coupons for things like sugar, meat, and butter. Despite these hardships, they found ways to contribute. Some members helped tend victory gardens, where families grew their own vegetables to supplement their rations. This spirit of making do and helping out was at the very core of the Spook Hunters' ethos. The story of the Spook Hunters is a powerful reminder that history is not just made by generals and politicians. It is shaped by the actions of ordinary people, including children. While their specific contributions may not be recorded in official war records, Stories passed down through their communities suggest they were successful on several occasions. It is said that their detailed reports led to the investigation and to the arrest of at least one suspected spy who was gathering information on shipping movements in the London docks. Their vigilance wasn't just a game, it had real-world consequences for national security. Learning about groups like the Spook Hunters helps us understand history from a different perspective. It shows us the war through the eyes of children who lived it. We often focus on the big battles and major events, but the story of the home front is just as important. These kids weren't passive victims. They were active participants who fought back with the tools they had, their courage, their cleverness, their knowledge of their own backyard. Their story adds a human layer to the immense collective effort of that period. The bravery and resourcefulness of the Spook Hunters can still inspire us today. They teach us you are never too young to make a difference. When they saw a problem, they didn't wait for someone else. They organized themselves and took action. This proactive spirit is a timeless lesson in civic responsibility. It urges us to look around our communities and ask what we can do, however small. Every positive contribution strengthens the community. In conclusion, the Spook Hunters were more than a footnote. They were youthful resilience and patriotism amid adversity. Their secret missions in war-torn London show heroism in unexpected places. By remembering them, we honor their courage and learn how ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Even in the darkest times, a few determined people can bring light and hope, turning the ruins of war into their operational headquarters. The Spook Hunters remind us that courage knows no age, and that the spirit of community service and vigilance they embodied continues to inspire new generations to stand up, take notice, and make their mark on history.